Good morning. So as we discussed in the previous recording, the Chovas tells us that if we just look around for a moment, we will realize that not only was everything pre-decided by Brias HaOlam already what's going to happen and how and when and in what size and who is going to be part of it, but if we just take a moment to look, we will realize that if we just look at the ingredients, they don't have the energy, or the people that try to use those ingredients don't have the power to actually create what seems new today. So for example, he says if you take a kernel of tvua, of wheat, and each one of those have 3 seeds, and every single one of those can create 300 more, which means that in one stem you have 10,000 potential seeds of tvua. Now, of course, when we look at that stem, do we really see the energy of 10,000 more? When we see an apple that can be put into the ground, and from that apple will be a new apple tree, can we really say that when we look at an apple, we see the energy of an entire tree? Of course not. But the HaKadosh Baruch Hu put a gezerah into the Bria at what time, at what moment, and what capacity there is going to be a new apple tree. And that is exactly the only way that something can happen in this world. And nothing anybody here in this world can do to change that. Of course, all other types of seeds, if we just look around at different trees and different fruits and vegetables and so forth. And of course, look at a person. There was a person here in Williamsburg, I think, a few years ago, that they made an event where they had 2,000 of her offspring. She lived a very long life. They all had big families. They had 2,000 offspring. When we look at a human being, do we see 2,000 people? Or when we look at animals, or the fish, he said, it's la dog a gadol shenoitz and beitz a dog. In one tiny inch, you can see a few hundred or a few thousand cells for new fish. Can we really say that when we look at an animal, we see potential of hundreds, or we see a fish, do we see potential of thousands and thousands of fish? Of course not. Nimtza Eifei, so he says, and therefore the whole idea of ishtadlus, when it's relevant to this world, and a person thinks for one moment that something that I'm going to do is going to make a difference on when it's going to happen, how big it's going to be, how small it's going to be, or anything like that, unless it has to do with Torah, and we'll get back to that in the next recording, then it must be, if a person thinks that he's missing one of two things, either that he doesn't understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly with clarity idea everything that's going to happen, and he already decided thousands of years ago when and how this is going to happen, or he simply doesn't understand that every gzera from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Tova. Will expand on this tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem. Have a wonderful day.